For decades, the world believed innovation belonged to the West, that the United States would always lead, always build bigger, faster, and smarter than anyone else. But while Washington debated budgets and timelines, China was quietly rewriting the rulebook. Not with one project, not with two, but with a civilization-scale transformation powered by engineering, speed, and ambition the modern world has never seen before. What you're about to see isn't just construction. It's a warning. These mega projects prove that China isn't catching up. It's already far ahead, and the rest of the world is only now realizing it. If there is one structure that defines China's engineering dominance, it is the Three Gorges Dam. Stretching more than 2.3 kilometers across the Yangtze River, this is not just the world's largest hydropower dam. It is the most powerful energy machine ever built by humans. With a generating capacity of 22,500 megawatts, the dam produces more electricity than dozens of nuclear power plants combined. Entire countries consume less power than this single structure creates. But the real shock isn't its size, it's its impact. The Three Gorges Dam reshaped China's entire energy strategy. By controlling floods, stabilizing water levels, and providing clean power to millions of homes and factories, it became the backbone of China's industrial expansion. Cities grew taller, factories ran non-stop, logistics chains became predictable. The United States has dams, but none come close. American infrastructure projects often take decades just to approve. China built Three Gorges despite relocating over 1 million people, reshaping ecosystems and moving mountains, literally. Critics warned it was impossible. China finished it anyway. What makes this dam truly terrifying to competitors is what it represents. Centralized planning, long-term vision, and the ability to execute mega ideas without paralysis. Three Gorges proved that China could bend nature, scale technology, and power an entire economy with a single project. It wasn't just construction, it was a declaration of dominance. The Beijing National Stadium, known worldwide as the Bird's Nest, was never just a sports venue. Built for the 2008 Olympics, it was designed to send a message. China had arrived on the global stage, and it wasn't asking for permission. With over 91,000 tons of steel, the stadium pushed architectural boundaries that many Western engineers said were impractical or unsafe. But China didn't hesitate. The Bird's Nest combined futuristic design with structural resilience, capable of withstanding major earthquakes while hosting tens of thousands of spectators. The interwoven steel beams weren't just artistic, they symbolized unity, strength, and complexity. The Olympics were watched by billions, and the stadium became a global icon overnight. Meanwhile, the United States was still struggling to modernize aging stadiums built decades earlier. China didn't renovate, it reinvented. More importantly, the Bird's Nest marked a turning point. China realized architecture could be power. A nation could influence perception, not through speeches, but through structures that made the world stop and stare. From that moment forward, China treated infrastructure as soft power, and the world hasn't looked away since. When people look at the Shanghai Tower, they often focus on one simple fact. It's the tallest building in China, and the second tallest in the world at 632 meters. But height alone doesn't explain why this tower sent shockwaves through the global engineering and architectural community. What makes Shanghai Tower extraordinary is that it is not just a building. It is a fully functional vertical city, designed to solve problems most countries are still debating. The tower's twisting design is not aesthetic vanity. Engineers rotated the structure by 120 degrees as it rises, reducing wind pressure by nearly 24%. That single design decision saved millions of dollars in construction materials and made the building far safer during typhoons and earthquakes. Western engineers once claimed such a structure would be too complex and too risky. China built it anyway, and it works flawlessly. Inside, Shanghai Tower operates like a self-contained ecosystem. Offices, luxury hotels, shopping areas, observation decks, and green zones coexist inside one structure. Advanced energy systems recycle rainwater, regulate internal temperatures, and reduce overall energy consumption by nearly 30% compared to traditional skyscrapers. High-speed elevators move people vertically at record-breaking speeds, making the tower efficient despite its massive scale. While many American cities struggle to modernize aging downtown cores, China demonstrated that the future of urban living may be vertical. Shanghai Tower proves that China isn't just building taller, it's building smarter, integrating sustainability, speed, and scale into a single structure. For the United States, the tower was a wake-up call. The era of symbolic skyscrapers is over. China has entered the age of functional megastructures. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is not simply log. It is unprecedented. Stretching 55 kilometers across the Pearl River Delta, this structure combines bridges, artificial islands, and an underwater tunnel to connect three of China's most powerful economic regions. No country had ever attempted a project this complex over open sea, and many said it couldn't be done. Engineers had to design the bridge to withstand super typhoons, earthquakes, ship collisions, and extreme corrosion from salt water. At one point, the bridge disappears beneath the sea through a massive submerged tunnel, allowing the world's busiest shipping lanes to pass above without disruption. Entire artificial islands were constructed just to support this hidden section. The payoff was immediate. Travel time between Hong Kong and Zhuhai collapsed from 3 hours to just 30 minutes. Businesses expanded overnight. Tourism surged. Logistics became faster and cheaper. Entire regional economies fused into a single super economic zone. What shocked Western observers most wasn't just the engineering, it was the speed. In the United States, infrastructure projects of this scale can stall for decades due to lawsuits, political gridlock, and budget overruns. China completed this one in under 9 years. The bridge represents more than steel and concrete. It represents a system capable of aligning vision, funding, engineering, and execution without paralysis. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge didn't just connect cities. It connected China's ambition directly to reality. The Shanghai Maglev train is not a transportation upgrade. It is a demonstration of technological confidence. Reaching speeds of 431 kilometers per hour, it remains the fastest commercial train in operation anywhere in the world. Unlike traditional rail, the maglev floats above the track using electromagnetic force, eliminating friction almost entirely. This system allows passengers to travel from Shanghai Pudong International Airport to the city in minutes. What would take nearly an hour by car or conventional rail becomes a short, smooth glide through the future. For China, this wasn't about convenience alone. It was about proving that cutting-edge technology could move from laboratories into daily life. While the United States still debates high-speed rail corridors and struggles with century-old rail infrastructure, China deployed maglev technology as a real-world solution, not an experiment. The train operates reliably, safely, and efficiently, day after day. The deeper implication is strategic. Speed reshapes economies. Faster transport means faster business, tighter integration between cities, and increased productivity. China understands this. The maglev is a test bed, a signal that even faster systems are coming, and that China intends to dominate the future of mobility. For the US, the Shanghai maglev wasn't just impressive. It wasn't just impressive. It was uncomfortable. It highlighted a growing gap between ambition and execution. China didn't wait for perfect conditions. It built first and let results speak for themselves. If scale alone defined power, the Danyang-Qinshan Grand Bridge would place China in a category no other nation can reach, stretching an almost unbelievable 164.8 kilometers. This is the longest bridge on Earth, built not for cars, not for tourism, but for speed. High-speed rail moving at extraordinary velocity across rivers, lakes, wetlands, and cities. To understand why this bridge shocked engineers worldwide, you need to understand the challenge. The region it crosses is geologically unstable, flood-prone, and densely populated. Most countries would have needed rail lines around it. without disruption. Construction involved more than 10,000 workers and consumed enough concrete to pave entire metropolitan regions. Yet the project was completed in just 4 years. No endless delays, no political deadlock, no redesign paralysis. The bridge slashed travel time between Shanghai and Nanjing, supercharging one of the most productive economic corridors on the planet. While the United States debates the replacement of century-old rail bridges, China quietly built the longest one ever imagined. The Danyang-Kushan Bridge isn't just infrastructure. It's proof of a system that prioritizes execution over excuses, and it forces the world to confront an uncomfortable reality. China doesn't ask whether something is too big. It asks how fast it can be done. Hidden among the mountains of Fuzhou lies one of the most ambitious scientific instruments ever created by humanity. The FAST radio telescope, also known as the Sky Eye. With a 500-meter wide aperture, it is the largest radio telescope on Earth. So massive it required relocating entire villages just to make space for it. FAST can detect signals from billions of light years away, listening to the faint whispers of pulsars, galaxies, and possibly even extraterrestrial transmissions. It is more sensitive than any comparable instrument ever built. While Western nations debated upgrades to existing observatories, China built an entirely new one, bigger, quieter, and more powerful than anything before it. This project wasn't about profit, it was about dominance and knowledge. FAST gives China an unmatched advantage in astrophysics, space monitoring, satellite tracking, and deep space research. Scientists around the world now rely on data coming from Chinese soil. The United States once led space science through massive public investment. Today, China is filling that role, with infrastructure that will shape research for generations. FAST is not a telescope. It's a declaration that China intends to lead not just on Earth, but far beyond it. Standing over 600 meters tall, the Canton Tower dominates Guangzhou's skyline like something pulled from science fiction. But this isn't just an observation tower. It's a multifunctional structure combining broadcasting, tourism, wind engineering research, and urban branding into a single vertical landmark. Its hyperboloid shape allows it to withstand typhoons and extreme winds while remaining visually lightweight. Engineers used complex mathematical models to create a structure that appears delicate but is incredibly strong. At night, the tower becomes a glowing beacon, a symbol of China's willingness to fuse engineering with spectacle. While many Western cities struggle to fund basic infrastructure upgrades, China built a tower that doubled as a technological testbed and cultural icon. The Canton Tower wasn't necessary, and that's precisely the point. China builds what it doesn't strictly need because it understands that symbols matter. This tower reshaped how cities think about identity. Infrastructure is no longer just functional, it's psychological. And China understands that better than anyone. The Hong Kong International Airport at Cheklapkok is one of the most daring engineering projects ever attempted. Built on a man-made island, it required leveling 2 natural islands and reclaiming vast sections of the South China Sea. Millions of tons of earth were moved to create a perfectly stable platform capable of supporting one of the busiest airports on the planet. Why go to such extremes? Because China understood that air traffic would define global trade. The airport was designed not just for passengers, but for cargo, logistics, and non-stop international flow. Today, it consistently ranks among the world's top airports for freight volume. This wasn't incremental thinking. It was future-proofing on a national scale. While the US struggles to modernize airports built in the 1960s, China built an entirely new one, from the ocean upward. Cheklapkok proves a terrifying truth for competitors. When China needs space, it doesn't negotiate with geography, it reshapes it. Suspended 430 meters across a canyon, the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge once held multiple world records and instantly became one of the most photographed structures on Earth. With a transparent floor and dizzying height, it was designed to terrify. and attract, but beneath the spectacle is serious engineering. The bridge uses multi-layered reinforced glass, capable of holding thousands of people at once. It was tested with heavy vehicles, sledgehammers, and extreme loads to prove its safety. China turned fear into an industry. Millions of tourists traveled just to walk across it, generating enormous revenue and global attention. This is infrastructure as experience, something Western planners rarely consider at this scale. The bridge shows how China merges engineering, psychology, and economics into a single structure. It doesn't just connect land, it creates desire. Taken individually, each of these projects is impressive. Together, they are overwhelming. They reveal a system that plans decades ahead, builds without hesitation, and executes with breathtaking speed. China is not just constructing buildings, bridges, and dams, it is constructing momentum. While the United States debates timelines and budgets, China pours concrete, installs steel, and moves forward. This is why the US is in shock. Not because China is catching up, but because it already passed the finish line while no one was looking. The future isn't approaching. China built it already.